good people of the world. My name is Sanja Milosavljevic, and I'm going to be your host today. You're watching and listening to Mondopreneur podcast, and the whole project is supported by US Embassy in Belgrade. The main idea of this podcast is to share stories of successful ladies in business, but not just in business, but ladies that work at the universities or NGO sectors. Just the main aim is to share their stories and how they are dealing with this COVID situation and how this transformed their everyday lives and their business. My today guest comes from Bali, and her name is Monica Mohindra. And she, first of all, thank you, Monica, for accepting my invitation to participate in this project.
Thank you.
So. Can you tell us something about yourself? Like, what is your educational background? Is it connected somehow to your present work and present job? What are you doing now, and what are your future plans?
Hi, everyone. I'm Monica, and I live in Bali, and I've been here for over 2 decades. I started my career in the fashion industry. That's what my qualifications are where it relates to education. Mm-hmm. And I worked in the fashion industry for over maybe 15 years. And then we decided that we wanted to do something by ourselves, my husband and I. And we thought, why not Bali? Bali is beautiful. It's Asia. It's green. It's got a great lifestyle. We just wanted to get away from the corporate world. So 10 years back, which is at 40, we just took a decision. We said, okay, done. We're moving. And we moved to Bali. Now, when we moved to Bali, we said, okay, what are we going to do over here? We picked up a land, and we decided to start doing things which we would enjoy, be passionate about. We built a holiday home. It's called Pandawas. Now it is a hotel. So the journey started from the fashion industry into the tourism industry, quite unrelated if you look at words, fashion and tourism. However, backbone of any business is the same. You've got to brand it, you've got to look after it, you've got to make it crawl, walk, grow, and branch it out. So as I went through building our home, which is now a hotel, I started understanding that I got into a completely advanced industry, having absolutely no idea of what tourism or hospitality involves. And it's been a hard work journey, as I call it. It's been challenging. It's been fulfilling to sit today where I'm sitting now. But it was not easy being accepted when you switch your industry, because you've already reached a certain mark. I was looking after 3 countries. I was looking after multiple brands across Southeast Asia, licensing them, retailing them, branding, marketing. I was basically heading the businesses. And suddenly, you've reached the pinnacle, and suddenly you start from zero. So you've got to be very confident in yourself. And I think if you are confident and, you can make things work, whatever be the hard work and, the challenges required, you do achieve success in small steps. So I set out goals, and today we've got a hotel. We also have a tourism site called thinkbali.com. We do a lot of work with the villages. We help empower women and the elderly. We work with, coconut plantations. We've got a brand called Coconut Cupboard, where we make 100% VCO, which is virgin coconut oil, and its various products. So we recycle every part of the plant to be used into home products or interior products. Then the hotel that we've built is also now an additional co-living space. It's networking spaces we have built, and we've done everything which is environment friendly. So I started learning about construction. I started learning about interior, because once you have a certain concept in mind, I think having the fashion training, it was easy for me to develop. And we also do villa management and also other villas, which, we showcase under Think Bali Holidays. Then my husband started Ray White, which is about real estate and property. So he's an ex-City banker. So we started absolutely fresh into fields or businesses which we did not know about, but we've learned. And we're very happy where we are at this point in our lives.
That's perfect. You shared so many things now that I'm not sure where to start with the sub questions. So can we just go one step back?
Sure.
You said that at one point you decided to just leave the corporate world, and you said that you need I don't know, you have to be confident, you have to learn some new things, but what's that one thing that just was the point where when you decided that this is enough, I just want to do something?
Sorry. Yeah, it depends on everybody's needs. As a family, we decided we had enough. You've got to draw a line in life. Okay, so we had reached a certain level in both our careers. We were doing extremely well where, it's called corporate life. And now, but that we felt with me traveling constantly, with my husband traveling constantly. We had a little daughter at that time, and she was 15 months old, our first child. And what was it that I wanted? What was it that we wanted? I definitely wanted to spend time with my child. I definitely did not want to lose my identity. I definitely wanted my family to be happy and flourish and remain healthy. And we felt that we had enough to do that. How much of savings do you want? How much do you want? You have to define. We defined that it was enough for us. So what should we do next? We want to give a better lifestyle. We did not want city life. We wanted more of a suburban life. Bali is beautiful. It offers us an experience of city life. You've got all the modern amenities. It's an amazing lifestyle where children root. They learn what is the importance of earth and water. They learn to respect both. Where could we use our knowledge about recycling, being environment friendly? What is it that we could do? And so Bali became the obvious choice. And we said, let's take the plunge. We'll see what happens next. So all our friends were thought we were very bohemian, and which is true. We were. I mean, nobody leaves high paying jobs or corporate lifestyles with just a decision. It was a snap decision we took. And we just said yes. And whatever will happen, will happen. So, ke sara sara. And we said, we both are intelligent. We both have great academic qualifications. Okay, so we might, burn out our savings for a year. We might burn it out for 2 years. But I think we both have confidence in ourselves, and we thought we can do something. And that's how it has been.
Perfect. Can you share with us what is actually necessary when you start not just something completely different from your previous career, but when you start a business? So is it to set goals? Is it to make a marketing plan? Is it to start just branding your product or service? What are the steps? What do we have to do? If I want to, I don't know, change my current job, what would be the steps?
Okay. So different people, there are lots of marketing gurus who give you different theories. But for me, we've got over 8 to 10 different businesses now. Some overlap and some don't. I started with more of a gut feel. So my first was the gut feel related to what I can see and hear. So for example, let's look at cooking oil. right? We've been using, it's a very simple example I'll give, and how I went into the coconut business, for example. Um, Now we do a lot of cooking. So much of information about palm oil or refined oils, sunflower oil, canola oil. It's mind-boggling. I know that in India we do use mustard oil and coconut oil in our various cooking, and there are certain benefits to it. But do you think I ever used it in my day-to-day life? Never. I was always busy ordering food in, flights or at airports or at various restaurants and meetings. Did I even think about what I'm eating? I would order a food which is gastronomically excellent or palatable, but would I even think about all that? No, because my entire thought process at that point of time would have been, I've got to finish this meeting, I've got a target, I'm meeting a few people, I've got 1 hour, and let's eat, grab a meal, and let's finish the meeting, right? We started out in Bali. A friend of ours started, talking to us about, what's happening. There's a lot of peatland because of palm oil production, and it can't be used, and how it's impacting the farmers. So it was just something I heard, and I thought about it. Over, some time. It was a constant conversation that I kept on hearing from a lot of people who were more aware than me at that point of time on the subject of what will happen to the earth. What if we continue to grow palm oil? The land does get spoiled, and it takes a few years before it can come back. Some of the lands in Indonesia could not even be brought back to other cultivations. It's a farmer dependent land. So those are the kind of questions we started, asking. Then the second question came, okay, so what could we do? There's so many coconuts. We all enjoy drinking coconut water, right? It's healthy. We know about it. We love to eat coconuts also. In India, we use it in prayers and various other aspects. So the first point was the gut feel in once you hear and you understand something. Then the third is your own awareness. Is there something that you could do? The fourth is to put down some points for yourself. I love to do that. I love to write down for myself. I love to study. I love to research what's happening. And then so I was already helping various villages in their handcraft or handiwork production. I'd already started that work a couple of years back. And so then I've never thought about what we could do with the coconut plant. And then this friend told me that, you know what, there is this opportunity. There are two villages, and why don't we take a look? So we went, we took a look, and so could we do? They make coconut oil very home style. Can we do anything? So then we found out that the Solomon Islands have a very good technology for extracting virgin coconut oil. Okay, fine. So where is the money going to come from? The next point comes in this whole scenario when you're looking at it, who's going to do the funding? And then what products will you make out of it? Whether those are saleable, whether there are any competitors in the current market. Will you scale your business or would you just limit your business to the Bali market? And then the next aspect of it is once you've done who will be the investors? How will the divide be in terms of the work and the thought and the strategy being implemented? In this case, we were two of us. Okay. My friend started he's from New Zealand, and he started working with the New Zealand Coconut Knowledge Center to understand more about that. The ambassador to New Zealand supported him. So they had various discussions. And then he came back to me and he said, okay, what was your strength? Where can you join? We had by that time already, we decided that we would put in the money and buy the machines. So these were brought in. Training was done to the women. We wanted to make it. We realized that in Bali, it is very difficult for women who are pregnant or sometimes the elderly to be able to get jobs. And then they have to be at home for the kids. It's very different here. It's a lot of the things are controlled by banjars, and then there are local cooperatives. So while trying to understand all that, how could we give back? I had already had a very good experience with the people when we had launched Pandavas, which is the name of our hotel, Pandavas Ubud. And I really wanted to do something where I could contribute more. So with these points in mind, without truly realizing the potential of what we were doing, we got into it because the investment was not very big. However, the return in terms of making two villages economically independent was probably a higher gratification for me. And we went into in that. So we make the coconut oil, and then I started learning and researching. Everything is about studying. Studies never end. You have to study. You have to understand, what a product is. And there's so much information available. How I could use the plant. So today we use the byproducts of the plant into making candles. We make handcraft items. From the roots, we make bags. From the leaves, we make bags. So we are utilizing from the shell, the husk, the hair. We make floor mats. So we started cropping up smaller industries that could help. It's not a big business, but it's a happy business. And we employed people, we trained them. So when you look at various points in starting a business, this was more to do with the heart than to do with the mind. This was more to do with wanting to do something than what I would get in return. So that's one way of looking at a business. Another way is where I went all commercial, where our first place, the hotel which we built was started selling as rooms. There I was all commercial, because there I had to look at how I would survive as a family with the earnings that we would. So there was a more commercial angle in terms of bringing in, a hierarchy of people who are more experienced, in terms of setting standards and understanding that these are hospitality standards that need to be met, in terms of a deeper market research on who are the competitors, what are they doing, what are the big wigs doing, where do I fall in? And then suddenly to sit on your, just sit down on the floor and realize, gosh, you're nowhere, Yeah, it's so, and then you stand up again, and then you go out again and meet the agents, because the agents would say, Monica, you've got a great property, you have great aesthetics, it's all environment friendly, and you've done so much of hard work, and you've spent like huge packets of money bringing forth a product which is so beautiful. I would get over 1,000 compliments, but I would get no booking. I would not get any business because the agents like to work with people who've got a huge inventory. I started out with only an inventory of 4 to 6 rooms. And I didn't realize that in the hospitality industry, you are nobody when you start out afresh. And then on top of that, I wasn't a young, lady who could, go out for dinners. I had a commitment to my family. I had to come home. So yeah, a lot of things develop into points to make a business successful as you put your footstep ahead. But once you've decided that, yes, this is what you want to do, then you might sometimes slip here and there, but you can go forward if you've decided and you've started to learn how to go ahead. That's when in 2015, my friend launched online marketing business, and I started learning what a channel manager is. So that was also a big turning point. That's because there was no Agoda or Booking.com and all. They were very small companies at that time. And that's how it started zooming upwards, because I had the inventory in my hand. I was not dependent on agents who would come and give me compliments, or people who would come and do free nights and would not give me much business. And from there, we've now developed into 20 more rooms. We've got co-living spaces. We've got more villas. So we have about 18, 20 other villas. So yeah, that's how.
Perfect. Can you just tell me something about? You said that you opened kind of a hub or a co-working space.
Yes.
how that happened. I know that those digital nomads, or I don't know how they
Yes,
call them. Yeah,
yes,
but
digital nomads.
yes, it's a very popular these days. So,
Yes.
who are the guests of your co-working space? Who is using your co-working space, and how that idea just crossed your mind?
Okay. So, from 2015 to 2018, we saw a huge rise in the popularity of Pandavas. We started getting a lot of guests. Every year, we have many, many repeat guests. And whatever we are doing on the ground obviously appeals. And hence, people started booking and coming back to us again. In the last couple of years, we have seen in Bali a huge, or not only in Bali, actually, all around the world, so called influence. Facebook has become very popular, Instagram has become very popular, and then you have all these influencers. They're all young kids, you know. Their age group is between, I see, from 18 years to 30, 32 years, and they're always on the roam around. And Bali is flourishing with all of them. And then I also started understanding during my, I'm meeting up with people because I've got many restaurants also. And in my restaurants, I started meeting up with a lot of people. And when you sit down and you discuss and you realize that what are they doing? And then the word digital nomad came about, where these people are either graduates or they've just finished their high school and they want to go do a year of surfing, or they just want to go around, and at the same time they want to earn or get freebies. And in order to get the freebies, they will offer various digital platforms for you to spread your dream, your businesses or your dreams, and connect to other people. Which, as I feel that having spent the last decade in building 7 brands or 7 businesses, which go from hospitality in terms of hotel, villas, management, weddings and events also, which we do, and restaurants and the retail concept. And I still have a little bit of my hand and leg in fashion business also. So there was something that I have not learned academically, or maybe I'm not that young in body to travel. Was these digital nomads, because I'm rooted. I'm not mobile as the digital nomads are. And do I want to be there? No, I don't want to be there. So which means there is a huge market for something like this. And what are they looking at? I started trying to understand what they are looking at. So they wanted rooms which were budget friendly. They also want, to have definitely beautiful greens and pool access. And they also want to have city life access, because these are kids on the move. And then they are growing their own businesses, and everything has boomed in the last few years in terms of digital boom, in terms of your businesses online, etc. And a lot of these kids are part of those businesses, which was something I have not grown up with, which is also not something that I have been trained in. But yes, whatever I have learned or acquired has happened on the job. Now, you can't do everything by yourself. You've got to have teams. While we employ many people, whether expats or local, there are certain skills which you have to, work together or collaborate with people. When this collaboration started and I started understanding what these young kids are doing, they're very smart kids. But obviously we are talking about a 10 to 15 year age gap with me. Why have I never looked? They are not the typical hoteliers. Now, there is already a glut in Bali with so many hotels, the old style of hotels, or the Astons, or you've got the Westin. Those are the bigger hotels, or you'll have the airport hotels. There's already a lot of it. So if I want to invest and grow my business, this is the target now. Because these people are okay with not doing a job sitting in an office. These people are okay to be on the move. So why can't I look at expanding my business and targeting this consumer profile and see what their needs are. I can do still the same thing which I enjoy. I enjoy working with leaves and roots and recycled wood and all creating and all that I can do. And I can still use these kids to share the work that we are doing here on the ground, maybe more effectively than I would have otherwise done. And at the same time, have a home for them in Bali. And so that's how.
So
So
that's
that's
the
the commercial
win-win.
angle.
Yeah, that's the win-win situation. Perfect.
So that's the commercial angle.
Yeah. So can you tell us something about I don't know, women entrepreneurs in Bali, or as you said, you're helping elderly ladies or young mothers, or you're helping some groups of women through your business. So, but what is the state of women entrepreneurs in Bali? Are there a lot of them, and what industries they use to run their businesses in?
Surprisingly, I would say Bali has a huge number of women entrepreneurs, domestic women entrepreneurs, and international women entrepreneurs. In a city life, in my corporate life, I would come across a lot of people like myself who would be working. We would be employed. We would be employed in either big corporates or big brands or, multinational companies. And I would find a lot of women in senior positions. I would meet a few women who were entrepreneurs, but they would be entrepreneurs, could have been that they've come up through their family businesses, which are like whatever, fashion brands, or some women who started out and have gained success. In Bali, the women entrepreneurship is in a different play altogether. So I come to domestic women entrepreneurship. They do the laundry business. They work mainly for the hospitality industry. They can start small warungs, which are small roadside cafes, which have Balinese food. They have a spa business where they can do rooted spas, or they can do mobile spas because of the amount of events and parties and pubs and the requirement from the hotels. So there are a lot of women who are self-employed. Now, there are also women who are employed, but in the evening shifts, or depending on the shift that they have, they run mobile businesses, which could be farming, which could also be selling roadside vegetables and fruits. It's all very organic and healthy here. So not necessarily need to buy from supermarkets. So there are lots of opportunities. And these women have actually come forth, and they are using these opportunities amazingly. So I salute the ladies here. On the other hand, I also meet a lot of women who are expats, like myself, who have come from other countries and made Bali their home. They work here, they do manufacturing here. So there's a lot of fashion business here, and they've got their labels, and they may be selling in, South Africa or Australia or the US. There's also women entrepreneurs whom I have met because they are aesthetically tasteful. So they've got handicraft businesses, the use of wood or cane or bamboo to make furniture. There are women who are in the handicraft business where they use beads, or they are using other aspects of handcraft items for carving, because Bali is so rich in culture. It's got amazing, you'll go mad. It's so beautiful. There's so much. You talk about the wood, you talk about the stone, you talk about any tree and what they can do with it, carvings or paintings. It's like, it's a culmination point. It attracts beauty. It attracts intelligence. And hence sprout out various kinds of women entrepreneurs. Some will succeed, some will give it a try for a couple of years, go back. But we're talking about the ownership of entrepreneurship. So I've met amazing ladies. Now, when we talk about making a a group of women entrepreneurs, I would say I don't make them entrepreneurs as much as I give them economic independence.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a community, we set up a community, we give them various roles, we train them, and then we hand it over to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how. It's the same thing which we do in our restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm sure that, they can use those skills elsewhere. Some people who do leave us, who have been trained with us, they, of course, they can move to other jobs or they can try their hands at their own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my team, if any of you do leave us and you do try your hand at your own business, be sure to invite me because it'll make me very proud.
Oh, that's nice to hear. So, what is your opinion about sharing knowledge, about transferring your knowledge or your experience to others, not just the women, but everyone who wants to listen?
I love to share. I love to learn and I love to share. There was a question that you had sent to me is, what does tourism mean to you? And I thought about it and I said, tourism, it's connecting cultures, it's connecting people beyond borders. And that's what sharing is about.
Mm-hmm.
You share, you connect. It doesn't matter. You learn and you give back. It's beautiful. So yeah, I share the learnings that I have had with a lot of my friends, and I share it with my team because it's very important that your team understands the concepts and the strategy. And only then will it be a happy team. For me, one of the very prerequisites is that my team needs to be happy. Because when they are happy, they are self-motivated. I don't need to do much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they are happy if there is respect. And then they are self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got different schemes. Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, continue.
So I said we've got different schemes to impart knowledge to them. Make sure they stay happy.
That's nice. So, what type of leader are you? And how hard is to manage different teams? Because you have different businesses.
I've always been very good at multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a problem. I'm right now juggling, as I said, about 8 businesses with different teams, different requirements, different set of skill sets, different people. And I can do that. Not everybody can do that. So you have to know what your skill set is. And we have 300, 350 people. And I can very proudly say that most of my team, if I've opened a business like 10 or 12 years back, my team is still around. Mm-hmm. If I've opened a business 6 years back, my team is still around. If I've opened a business 4 years back, my team is still around. So I'm sure I'm doing a good job in making them stay happy and motivated. Right?
Yes, they are happy, probably.
Yes.
So what changed in this? Well, it's almost a year now. What? Yes. Who would say it's a year since the pandemic started? What has changed? How your business or your businesses transformed, and what are basically new values? Do you have any new values now? Have you created new values?
Bali is
now?
totally dependent on tourism.
I know.
So for all our businesses, it's been zero or negative. I mean, it's zero income, but it's negative cash flow because we still have a huge responsibility to the families that work with us. Mm-hmm. We have not been able to pay everybody entirely 100%. So there have been huge setbacks because right now we are on what is called survival mode. I think the learning that has happened is that no one had ever understood or experienced what is survival mode, at least in my generation. Today, we all know what is survival mode. This is survival mode. So what we've done is a couple of the businesses which are still in play and are still operational, we as investors, or we as partners of the business, or as management heads of a business, we have decided that we would not take any income. So we haven't taken income since, or earnings, or cashed in on any earnings or etc. since March last year. What we've done is, let's say a business makes, for example, let me say $10,000 a month, for example. That's the current revenue, right? It could have done maybe 100,000 pre-COVID. So let's say today it's down to only 10%, and we're only doing 10,000. We pay off the rentals, we pay off electricity, Wi-Fi, basic costs, suppliers, and whatever money is left is divided amongst the staff who are working. That's what we've been doing now for a year. So I think what has also happened during this is, not only have people learned survival, but people are also learning to take care of each other. A lot of the time pre-COVID, I would find people were very myopic. I see a lot of change in the attitude of people. They are not as myopic as they were before. They were very self-centered. I see that change. And that has not only happened in the customers or the people that I'm meeting, but also in my own team. We all have different habits. We all have different moods.
Yeah, of course.
And we all come from different experiences day to day. So the reaction on how we react at work to the fellow colleagues and to the business also varies. I see a stability in that. They are more patient. They are more forgiving, amongst themselves. If somebody has an issue, I see more team members coming to help and support, which, as I said previously, would have been a lot of people would have been callous and self-centered and myopic. That has changed today, I see. And so that is a happy change. But yes, people are suffering. There is no doubt about it. They are not able to manage their livelihood as they could previously. So yes, that suffering is definitely there. The economic suffering is huge.
But how was it for you? Like you said, Bali lives from tourism, from hospitality business. But it's not just closing the hotel. It's everyone in the chain that is connected to a hotel suffered. So how was it for you? And how did you? You said that you haven't paying off the earnings for yourself, but have you found any new way how to promote your business, or how to keep your business alive, or have you found something that you are going to implement? I don't know, in next year or in next 2 years, something that force you to change, because this situation forced all of us to change.
Yes. Being in Bali and being dependent entirely on tourists, there's not a big much that I can do at this point of time.
Sorry, I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
it's true. What you said, it's basically the truth.
Yes. So it's basically survival mode at this point. However, the thing that we might do once things open up, once things get better, is that this last year, for myself and some of my key team members, I have forced them to do online learning. I have forced them to take language classes. I test them sometimes and I don't get very positive results, but I started, I've learned French, but I wanted to brush that up. So language, we started focusing on language, learning Spanish now. So it's important to keep the mind healthy. So language skills, walking, encouraging walk more and more and more, and share your walking goals daily. Encouraging it's not commercial. Yeah, I'm talking about spiritual here, because I think the spiritual of today will help my commercials for tomorrow.
I
Yoga.
agree.
Okay. There are certain yoga apps. I downloaded those. So 15 minutes of yoga every day, doesn't matter where you are. And then online, you've got this Udemy. You can do courses there, and sharing those courses and learnings to the teams. So I leave my home every day at 8 o'clock. I come back by 3 o'clock. I go from one business to the other business, and all that we are doing right now is imparting skills, teaching, grow yourself, develop yourself. So commercially, no. Commercially, not much can be done. And commercially, if I think we are able to help all the people we employ to, as we say, have a roof over the head, have good food, wear clothes. We're in that mode in Bali at this point. And if that can be done for everybody, I think we will be good. We will do a great job with the new skills that we are acquiring once things open up.
So, what do you think? When is this going to end? When is Bali going to be open again?
Oh,
what do you
if
predict?
you give me the rights, I'll open it tomorrow morning.
What is your gut feeling telling you? When is this going to really end? The fear of connecting with other people, or going to the crowded rooms and restaurants, and okay, we can take a vaccine and we can stop the pandemic, but when are we going to free our inner selves? When are we going to return to the state of mind from 2019?
That depends on that depends on the masses, because when I look at the fear, paranoia that is overcoming people's minds, unless they let go of this fear, we can't move forward. It's the same thing. It's a baby taking the first step, crawling. Everybody has to take that first step to say that if I lead a healthy lifestyle, nobody is talking about that. You lead a healthy lifestyle, you eat well, stop your junk food, stop your sodas, you walk or you exercise, you breathe. It may be cold, so of course you can't go out, but you can still do exercises inside. And you use the time that you have to acquire new skills. Keep your mind positive and healthy. I don't have a doubt that we can't move forward and, still reconnect. But till that is not done, I don't think anybody, if the media today should be open to debating. Somehow debating has gone out of the picture, which makes me very sad.
Me too.
Yeah. So if there is a yes and there is a no in this world, why is only the no being enforced? Why is there no room for me to speak about yes? I'm not asking for, I'm not dictating or I'm not commanding. All I'm saying is I should be given an opportunity to say the yes in the way that I feel it. It's my civil right. However, I feel that a lot of people who are coming forth and saying a yes or no, depending on the topic, are not being allowed that freedom of speech. So the number one step is, if the freedom of speech is allowed, I think a lot of people would be able to speak forth. Second, given the correct requirements, medically, scientifically, all that, which I don't know, maybe in the next 10 years I would have researched and I would acquire some skill or some knowledge. But today, I guess having come from, I believe in a healthy lifestyle more than I believe in anything else. And there's dengue, there's malaria, we fought all of that. So why not this? Influenza, There was polio. There's so many things that have got eradicated, and never has the world shut down. So the key question is, who is shutting the world down and why, and what's the agenda? So for me, if from my side as a simple, business entrepreneur, there is no agenda. For me, the world needs to be open because it needs to feel happy and needs. So the baselines are different. So I don't know when my baselines are going to meet the more bigger baselines, and then Bali will open.
Yeah, I hope it's going to. I hope it's going to happen soon, very soon. So we actually came to the end of conversation.
Okay.
And I usually like to ask my guests to just share a message to listeners, something that is, everything is personal, of course, everything we spoke about is personal, but something that is like some kind of a short intimate message to the world.
I don't know about to the world, but
or to me, okay.
Something that I share with everybody. So it's raining. Okay, it's raining very heavily, yeah, and there's a person who's holding an umbrella. Okay, now you protect yourself from the rain, right? You protect yourself from negative energy. You protect yourself from all the things that you think aren't good because you have this umbrella. That umbrella it's just a symbol. And this person who's holding the hand, also in one hand is the umbrella, in the other hand holding the hand of the child. So which means things that you adore, that you love, that are dear to you. So you're going to protect the child, and the child has to come under your umbrella. The child also has a small little umbrella, which the child is holding, because that's how you go about on a normal day to day. It's a very natural picture. But here we have the child. There's a dog following, and the child is actually trying to protect the dog, whereas the child is getting wet. So you see, learning or education is not about qualifications. Learning and education is how you use them in your day-to-day behavior.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for staying late hours to have this conversation, because it's 7 hours difference in time zones between Serbia and Bali. So thank you for sharing your experience, sharing your time, and sharing your wise words with the world. Dear people, you were listening to Monica from Bali. If you like, you can always follow us on YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And please be good, stay in good health.